have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity.
We know the air is unfit to breathe and our food is unfit to eat. As if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy.
Silence! The great and powerful Oz knows why you have come.
You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it! My life has value.
You have meddled with the primal forces of nature.
Don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts.
With Jason Bermas.
And who loves you? And who do you love?
Good morning.
Very interesting conversation.
Good morning. Sorry, we just had a little audio issue with the one clip that I'm going to be playing, which is actually an interview at Davos World Economic Forum last 2 months ago with Alex Karp. And a lot of people are probably unaware of who Mr. Karp is, but I am not. We're going to do some of that. Sorry about that, guys. Boom. Okay, that's a little bit better. Alex Karp is the partner of Peter Thiel and Palantir, co-founder. Really interesting conversation. More than likely going to be in the second half of the first hour of the broadcast into the premium section. Really two main stories I want to hit upon, and then I'm going to go to you guys. I'm going to go to the audience. So if you are in YouTube, get your questions and comments in the live stream. And I've been bleeding YouTube subscribers. Not like a ton, but I lost 40 or 50 over the weekend. And look, we haven't gained a significant amount of subscribers in 3+ years. Since the demonetization and the obvious shadow banning. And it might be time to sue these people. It really might be. You know, I'm not a big shot like Alex Berenson, but clearly they've used unfair business practices. They are 10 times worse than Twitter and always have been. And they have openly bragged about being an extension of globalism, taking authoritarian advice and dictates from the World Health Organization and the United Nations. Period. They're trash. You're trash, YouTube. You're 100% over-the-top trash. Still have to use you, still have to utilize you to get people to watch the program, to bring new people in, but I can't tell you how many times I've gotten email. Jason, I've been unsubscribed to you for several years now. I had no idea. I was wondering if you were gone. Jason, I haven't received a notification, even though the notifications bells have been on. Jason, I followed you on Twitter right before the COVID-1984 pandemic really took off because I saw some of your videos. I haven't seen a tweet from you in 2.5 years. That's how it works. That's why it's great to have redvoicemedia.com supporting me, because this is an outlet that truly lets me say what I want and I can't be censored. And look, Rockfin, great. I have 75,000 followers over there. Again, I was able, in 3 years' time via Rockfin, get up to where I've been from YouTube 3 years ago, basically. You understand? See how that works? Problem with Rockfin is that the views haven't gone up. And this is about reaching more and more people. So yeah, somebody signs up, follows me there, watches a video, never comes back. And quite frankly, they have to do a better job of selling their platform to other people. That's something that I think has been, unfortunately, extremely lacking with that platform in comparison to others such as Rumble. The marketing is just not there. I unfortunately just don't think the budget is there to expand outside of kind of the shell corporation that they are. They need programmers. They need people on site who are able to take customer service. And, right now, unfortunately, I feel like they're in the same place they were a year and a half, 2 years ago. There really hasn't been much growth on the side of the actual platform, right? And that's not to say that they haven't done some good things. Probably about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that they integrated tips. And I'm sure that was very good financially for them, as it was good financially for the creators. But there was so much more that they talked about doing that just never came to fruition and still hasn't come to fruition. I have hope on that platform. But you know what they say, hopes are like hand grenades. You better just toss them and hope for the best, right? And I don't know who says that, but I just said it in a babble monster. Robin Williams, why is he the cover story here? And then we're going to get into the John Fetterman clone claims or John Fetterman body double claims. They're all bullshit, by the way, folks. So if you're falling down the rabbit holes of body doubles and actors and sets and all that stuff, watch it. Just watch out for what you're doing. The latest Fetterman pics / video are him. Let me repeat that. They are John Fetterman, 100%. We're actually going to show you some Photoshop. What I used to do for a living before I broke into this, my first desk job as a graphic designer, to kind of display to you that if you just took 5 minutes out of your day and you took a step back and you weren't buying into all the Johnny nonsense and the QAnon nonsense and here we go and, trust the plan and we're still blah, 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 you'd realize that's John Fetterman in the pictures. No, it looks goofy, but it's called a squeeze. So in other words, if you go 4x3 instead of 16x9, 16x9 is long, but if you squeeze a 16x9 long shot like this, they used to tell you it was slimming, or it would make you look fatter on television, right? Because you're compressing it in, depending. And that's exactly what you're looking at. You're looking at a compressed face of Fetterman. You'll see it very obviously that when you smush it and you extend it, same ears, same brow, same eyes, same mouth, same person. Same person. And I'm seeing some rather large outlets report on that. The Gateway Pundit being one of them. And I like the Gateway Pundit a lot. In fact, when I was scrolling through Twitter yesterday, I saw that the Gateway Pundit, hashtag Gateway Pundit, was actually trending. And for a site that's been basically delisted by Google, demonized by the masses, that's huge. That's big. And we should be supporting all types of alternative media, whether you agree with everything they have to say or not, or whether you think they're on the right track or not. The more voices, the better. Okay? The more conversations we have, the more debate that can take place. So again, I want to get your viewpoints. I want to get your opinions, and I also want to get your big questions, and maybe even throw in what you think are the big stories from this past weekend, as really I was out of it. I worked the Caged Aggression Cage Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. I had a great time. But those days are, basically 8-9 hour days over at the cage. And I try to just take a break as much as I can from really delving too far into the news cycle. Although I periodically, look and catch up and can't help myself in the sense that I do want to see what's going on. But I don't sit down at my desk for hours at a time and pick out stories much like we do here. So thumbs up, subscribe share. Make sure you're subscribed. Again, we're losing subscribers. Love to get 100 subscribers today over on YouTube. Doubt it's going to happen. In fact, I can't tell you. We've been doing this now almost 6 months on a 4-day-a-week basis, 4 hours of content a week. All right? Normally, one of those videos per week should jump me up 25, 30, 100 subscribers. And none of my videos are rated as such where I'm losing subscribers. It hasn't happened in 6 months. Not once. Not one time. 0 times. I'm pretty sure YouTube needs to be sued into the ground. That's what needs to happen. Like they need to have their algorithms posted. They need to have their internal emails leaked. Okay? And it's time for a WikiLeaks type operation on Google and YouTube in particular. Google, the largest search engine in the world, really Chrome, Google, Android, YouTube. It's all the same thing, right? Whistleblowers, where are you? Leakers, where are you? We need you, we need you, we need you. I'm sure if you have a conscience and you have access to this, you understand that eventually you'll become, a puppet of Putin, or it'll be Russian disinformation, or the Russians will be the ones that have released it. But I got to tell you, we need you now more than ever. And for the leaker, there has to be some kind of a watermark way where you can really drive it home. It's not Russia, 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 and you don't work for Russia, Russia, Russia. No, you want the American people to see how corrupt the system is. And it's so outwardly corrupt with Google that they've partnered with the National Security Agency, that they've partnered with NASA, that they have an open monopoly that nobody has challenged. Well, everybody's so worried about the TikTok. Ooh, it's TikTok. You don't even need TikTok on your phone. TikTok. China. TikTok. Now, I'm not promoting TikTok. I think it's overall 100% trash. Like, seriously, just unadulterated trash. Talking about unhappy attention seeking. And that'll segue when we get over to Robin Williams and that state of affair, but the need for the endorphin rush of social media acceptance, it's repulsive. It's repugnant. And it's funny, man. Like, I'm talking to one of my buddies, my good buddies here, over in Iowa, and he happened to post a picture of his son and another child at the fights. Okay? Took his kids to the fights, took his kid's buddy to the fights. Great. Now, the kid that he was with apparently had beaten up another one of his son's friends. And because the mother of that kid saw the social media picture, he ended up in an hour-long conversation about why him and his son were still hanging out after he had assaulted and knocked out the other kid. Done something pretty unacceptable to the other kid. Now, I'm not defending one way or another, but I am showing you the social media dynamics of why you might want to think twice about posting your entire social life, family life in particular, on social media. It's not something I do often. You don't see a lot of pictures of me with my nieces or my girlfriend or any of that stuff. In fact, even over the weekend, while I was at Caged Aggression, I think I did one pic with Pat Miletich and put it up for night 2, not night 3. And I think I put up 2 YouTube videos of me just quickly ranting and raving about the lunacy of the day, including Trump's baseball bat tweet where he did a bad Joe Pesci impersonation, where Joe Pesci has done bad impersonations of actual gangsters. I mean, Joe Pesci's this big. He's like this big, like tiny, little guy. Probably can't swing a bat too hard. Okay, not very intimidating in person. Robert De Niro, not a large man. The magic of Hollywood. Acting. All right, I've gone on enough of an outward rant, but it is reality rants here. Let's get to the first story. And remember, we're going to come over to your questions and comments. So get them in for the first hour. We're also going to do the Alex Karp thing and the Fetterman thing. The Fetterman thing is definitely going to be in the first hour. So, why did I decide to lead with what nobody else will lead with? Robin Williams' apparent suicide from many years ago now. Well, I'll tell you why. Because I saw an article regarding Sam Neill, star of Jurassic Park, amongst many, many other things. John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness, one of those things. Sam Neill appeared alongside Robin Williams in the 1999 film Bicentennial Man. And I believe I watched Bicentennial Man way back in the day. Or I may have missed it because he was a robot, but he was a robot living for a long time. And I think he started out as like a silver robot, becomes more of a humanoid robot, etc. But Neil said that the comedian was one of the most depressed and lonely people he'd ever met in an intimate new memoir. All right? And he was 63 years old. And look, the ongoing depression definitely helped lead to his death. Neil says that he could sense the dark space inside Williams, and the actor was the saddest person he had ever met. And there is the Bicentennial Man robot. But as I said, as it goes on, he becomes more and more humanoid. That would actually be an interesting one to watch. There's a lot of interesting ones to watch when it comes to Robin Williams, including World's Best Dad. But we'll get to that in a bit, okay? So, apparently, Williams had been misdiagnosed with Parkinson's disease, but the autopsy after his death realized he had just been suffering from Lewy body dementia. All right. In addition to arresting physical movement, the condition can exacerbate depression and cause psychological symptoms. Now, first of all, about Robin Williams. Who knows what kind of psychotropic drugs he was on? He could have definitely been on those. There's a chance he wasn't. There's a chance he was on and off them. But what we do know about him is that he struggled with alcohol and drug addiction throughout his career. And look, a lot of comedians, they put on the clown face, but they're sad inside, the sad clown face. And I believe that this is one of those people. You can watch Robin Williams all the way back in the day as a 70s street performer in New York City. He lands the Mork and Mindy show. And from there, he just takes off into superstardom. I remember, I think it was Comic Relief back in the day on HBO, but he and Whoopi Goldberg and Billy Crystal were always on that. I always enjoyed his stand-up. In fact, one of his stand-ups used to make fun of, like, Joe Biden, back when Joe Biden was a vice president. Weapons of mass destruction, or it was weapons of mass something. Let's look that one up live. Robin Williams, weapons of Williams. And it was also Weapons of Self-Destruction is the name. One of those guys, it's 2009, HBO special. Can't recommend it enough. A really great one. He was one of those guys that also supposedly stole jokes. Now, a lot of people know about Mencia, but apparently Robin Williams was especially egregious on this. And younger comedians that would be hip to it, when he would come into the room, they would start bombing on purpose or just not doing their best set because they knew there was a chance that Robin Williams was going to take it. Okay. So now let's get to the evidence that Robin Williams indeed did not kill himself, at least on purpose. I think he accidentally killed himself due to something that isn't talked about and something that our society looks down upon and wants to act like it doesn't exist. But in essence, it really is an extension of the addictive behavior that we talked about and the endorphin rushes. and that is autoerotic asphyxiation. Okay, and for those that do not know what that is cutting off your air supply while self-pleasuring. Let's leave it at that. And there are numerous ways you can do this. You can do this with a bag over your head. You can do this with a belt around your neck or a rope. But when you're doing it with yourself, you're playing Russian roulette, really, because one wrong move and you pass out. You can end up choking yourself to death and dying. And there have been several different films where this is fictionalized. I remember the Steven Soderbergh film where it happens to the David Duchovny character. He's supposed to be on a date with Julia Roberts, and then Julia Roberts goes to find him and wondering why he's not there, and all of a sudden he's dead because of that. And I got to tell you, I really do believe that is what happened to Robin Williams. Williams played anti-suicide advocate in eerie movie role. Now, the same year that special comes out, 2009's World's Greatest Dad comes out. And a lot of the videos about this have been scrubbed. In fact, a lot of this stuff was hard to find on Google. You know, I typed in autoerotic fan, and I'll show you why in a moment. But they postponed his autopsy report because the coroner was asking his family, his wife in particular, I believe, whether or not Robin Williams was an autoerotic fan. Now, those were not headlines, and they're hard to find. Now, for those that don't know about 2009's World's Greatest Dad, he's a professor. His son is not, they don't have a great relationship. He's kind of a jerk to his father. His father doesn't know what to do. And at first, he finds his son in an autoerotic asphyxiation position. And the son is alive, but scares the father and berates the father for walking in and all that other stuff. The next time it happens, he's dead. Okay? So Robin Williams, not knowing what to do and not wanting for the world to think that this is how his son died, instead would rather have him commit suicide, takes the body, posts it up in the closet, and writes a fake suicide note. And the movie entails from there. It actually is kind of a tale of how the father gets the notoriety that he's always wanted through this dark moment with his son. It's a weird film, but why would you choose to do that film that has a very dark theme, especially in the beginning, and one to do with what? Autoerotic asphyxiation. Okay? So, this headline: Robin Williams had no illegal drugs or alcohol in his system when he committed suicide, coroner's report reveals. All right? Now, it does say that he'd taken 2 antidepressants and 2 coffee compounds. Again, so the antidepressants are there. I guess that's not a question. And you know how I feel about those. All right? But the headline used to be very, very different. Okay? So let's just hit Control F and boom. Very difficult and emotional. Robin Williams found, this is filming The World's Greatest Dad. This is where he finds his son accidentally through autoerotica. That's the first time that comes up. She was also asked by authorities if her husband was interested in autoerotica, which she said he was not. So, why would they postpone this? Okay. They said he had 4 drugs in his system at the time of his death. Okay. Why would they postpone it? Ask about autoerotica if that wasn't in the mix. Robin Williams found in bedroom with a belt secured around his neck, coroner says. Okay. So, once again, what people need to understand and what's hidden is that he was in a seated position with rigor mortis. Okay, seated position. Now, the assistant who found him said he was fully clothed. And then they talked about a pocket knife and dried blood. I've always been extremely suspect of that. You see, first of all, if you were cutting your wrists, he could find something other than a pocket knife. And there would have been blood everywhere. Everywhere. All right? So, there you see it. In a seated position, unresponsive, with a belt secured around the neck, with the other end of the belt wedged between a closed door and a door frame. His right shoulder area touching the door with his body. He was perpendicular to the door and slightly suspended. Okay. Mr. Williams was cool to the touch with rigor mortis. All right. And by the way, that's what was said by the sheriff's department. So now people need to realize that he didn't hang himself. Okay? Here it is right here. He did not hang himself. There it is. Rigor mortis had already said it. You're struggling with yourself. You cannot be in a seated position with your knees like this if you hung yourself on purpose. So, once again, the evidence is that this was a guy who was an adrenaline junkie. This is a guy that suffered depression throughout his lifetime. This is a guy who was a drug addict. And this was a guy that behind all the laughter had plenty of tears. Okay? And I truly believe to this day that was a cover-up for many reasons, as you can imagine, that they didn't... I mean, think about what a weird, twisted society is, that we'd rather think that somebody killed themselves than accidentally did so because of an addiction, a physical addiction. I mean, that to me, that speaks a lot to the society, folks. That's, call me kooky, call me crazy, call me wild. Just speaks to the society that we live in. Okay, now, before we hit any other stories, and we'll save some other stories for the other side, before I go to your questions and comments over at YouTube, I've got to do the Fetterneck story. Okay? So let's take a look at some of this stuff right now and what people are saying. So this is John Fetterman leaving Lancaster Hospital from Braddock to recover from stroke. Now, from this angle, a lot of people say, well, why? Of course that's Fetterman. But then people take this picture and you have a look. Obviously, this is a squared up face, and this is a much longer face. All right, now with Photoshop in a minute, I'm going to hit this up because I think this is a really good one to go with. But here's Fetterman again, sitting with his family. This is not the latest. This is from months and months and months ago. This is, I think, when he first goes in for quote-unquote depression. And who knows if that's true. Who knows if he's really clinically depressed or it's more physical stuff with the strokes. Okay? But this is a really good picture to look at. Now, what I want people to really look at before we go to Photoshop, okay, are the ears. Look at the left ear of Fetterman right here. Look at it. Looks exactly like this ear compressed. Look at the shape of the other ear. Has the same exact shape of this ear compressed. Look at the nose. This is his face tilted up. The bust, the brow right here. See that line right there? The brow right here. All the same person. Now, before I go to Photoshop, I would also like to say that the video of him sure sounds like him as well. So listen to this yourself, and you hear John Fetterman talk, and this is where they got the pictures from. Thank you. I mean, just that alone. You know, first of all, you see the video. He walks and talks like John Fetterman. But let's take it a step further. Let's do it, and let's do it live. Okay, so let's take his face. Let's do some dicka doing with the Photoshop here, and show people my Photoshop skills. So we're gonna do this as clean as possible. I'm going to take my pen tool, not even just a regular selection tool, and I'm going to go around this big old noggin of his. Look at that, folks. Look what you can learn in school, even being a beauty school dropout. Just pay attention to the classes for the career that you're going to want to do, and you too can have, actually we don't need to do that, we just need the face, the skill set of Jason Bermas, excuse me. Not hard. Just like H.G. Wells said, if you gave me a day and you were paying attention, I could definitely teach you the basics. So we're going to make that into a selection. Hit OK. Let's just hit edit, copy. Oh, we're not on the right one. I guess we're not, but we will be now. Edit, copy, edit, paste. All right. Now here's where the magic's going to happen, folks. So, let's take old Fetterman right here, grab it, and put it over here. We're going to bring it to the front. Okay. So now, let's do about a half opacity. So we're going to be able to see through John Fetterman's face and the Fetterman. All right. Now, we're going to do it. We're going to go edit, free transform. And this is where you're going to see that the sizes and whatnot. First of all, let's widen them out. Let's get it so it's just about there. And then we're going to hit shift so we can actually stretch them out. All right. Now we're going to curve it. So we're almost in the same exact spot. You see how this is working now, guys? You see how close we are at this point? So, boom. Okay? So now, don't get me wrong. There's a little, again, he's got his smile on right where the mouth is, but you line up the eyes and the nose, and they're pretty damn similar. Let's fade it in. Let's fade it in with the full thing. Look at that. Is that close enough now? Look. You know, again, there's a little bit different of an angle, but if you also look at Fetterman's teeth, ears, eyes, brow, noggin, that's John Fetterman. John Fetterman is completely incompetent and has absolutely no place in office. All right? At all. Not even a little. I mean, John Fetterman's gone through some looks, too, by the way. That's just from 6 years ago. That's Fetterman in 2017, everybody. Okay? So, again, you're not doing yourself any favors. In fact, you're doing yourself a disservice when you jump on bandwagons and you jump on those kind of trains that have no basis in reality. So, you know, think about it. Anybody could have just done what I did, right? And here's a bunch of Fetterman stuff right here because I was looking for all those Fetterman shots. And look, he's getting older, but the many faces of John Fetterman. I do not believe there's a John Fetterman double out there, everybody. Okay, there's no deep fakes, there are no doubles. It's John Fetterman. They basically have a brain-damaged puppet in there. That's what's going down. That's what's going down in Chinatown. I wish it wasn't, but that's the reality, folks. Period. That's the reality. All right. With that being said, we are now going to go to your questions and comments over here on the YouTube. Let's see what everybody has to say. Oh man, JB, this one is going to be tough. I thought so, yeah. We had 12 people watching at the outset in our 70+ thousand. Again, thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. Let's get 100 new subscribers today. Let's see if a call to action actually works. Yes, I want you on Rumble. Yes, I want you following on Rockfin. But this is the largest platform in the world. The world. And we're just getting devastated constantly over there. Time after time after time after time. Devastation. Can't grow. Certainly can't earn any money. You know, and I'll tell you what. Rockfin, to its credit, at least has tips, whereas we still have not seen that implemented in Rumble, and Rumble should have been able to do that years ago. Not days ago, weeks ago, or months ago. Years ago, they should have been able to implement some kind of a tip or a super chat type mechanism. Just throwing it out there. Telling me out of all those subs, only 12 watching. I don't believe it. I believe it, unfortunately. Robin Williams is watching. Ha ha ha. What up? How we doing, Scott Bailey? I hope you're enjoying your day, and I hope you enjoyed your weekend. I had a blast this weekend. And I want to thank anybody who tuned in to CagedAggression.tv any of the nights and bought the pay-per-view. I get to let loose a little bit, get to crack some jokes and take it easy. And I really have fun doing that while watching A-grade fights. Good morning, Bermas Brigade. Yes, it is Mork Nanu to you, too. Cosmo's got the clown. Mork from Orc, correct? Morning, new sub to Red Voice. Love your content, Jason, fellow New Yorker from your neck of the woods. Thank you, Sunshine Girl. We do appreciate it. Upstate New Yorker there. Sub in redvoicemedia.com/Jason, redvoicemedia.com/uncensored to support the broadcast. Only $1 for the first week and $10 a month, or lock it in for the year for 100 Beanarooskies, and you get myself. You get Ray Dietrich, the founder. You get Drew Berquist. You get Chad Canton. And yes, you even get Matt Couch, brand new to the game. Alicia Powell with some powerful reports as well. RedVoiceMedia.com, just growing. Good morning, folks from FEMA Region 4, Old Hickory, Tennessee. Good morning, Terry. How we doing? We got the nano Mork machine, the eggs and the rabbits. That's right. For those that don't know, I believe Mork was fully formed in an egg while he was born. Shazbot! Really bringing out the Mork. Really bringing it out. Good morning from Nova Scotia. YouTube has been weirder for the last few days. Anyone else notice? Your subscriber base was blowing up before the channel bad. It just suddenly stopped. I remember that. Oh, yeah, no, we were doing great. Well, there are some weeks we were getting 1,000 to 5,000 subscribers at times. I mean, we were trucking along. John Westerland, they unsubscribed me. Yeah, they just unsubscribe people. And they do it let's take away 5 or 10 a day. They haven't watched a video in 2 weeks because we haven't sent them a notification. Bye. Always assumed Robin Williams was just another victim of the beast. I'm so sick of watching them kill off anyone with a little bit of decency with absolutely no LE agency batting an eye. See, that was the thing. There was a lot, just like with every celebrity death, when his death came in, there were people out there trying to say, Illuminati murder, the Illuminati got him. Same thing with Paul Walker. I remember that was around the time. And at the time, there were actually a lot of quote-unquote real fake news sites that were just making shit up, that didn't have real sources, that were not portraying themselves as satire. And those stories would go viral, whether perpetuated by disinformation agents on purpose or perpetuated by those that wanted to turn a profit with Google ads, etc. I'm not going to say because I don't know for sure. But I can tell you right now, it was all bullshiz. It was all Johnny nonsense. YouTube must have dropped them. It's happened to me before. I had to go back and subscribe. Could be fake accounts who were monitoring. So again, there's Johnny Mnemonic. One of the most active people right there with the Bermas Brigade. And he's telling you that he's been unsubscribed many a time. Shocker. Let's see what we got here. You should sue. I agree. Demonetized the Lotus Eaters. Yeah, YouTube's demonetizing all sorts. Yeah, they went after Gary Franchi and Next News Network. And, I like Franchi. I don't always agree with what they put out there, right? But there's a guy I've known for, almost 2 decades, well over 15 years now. Started with the Lone Lantern Society. And he was always trying to get me into a multi-channel network, right? And I had actually spoken to a couple of these multi-channel networks. You sign away your life, and every time I talk to them, they looked at my page because they just see that, wow, they go through metrics, and they go, wow, this guy right here, if you look at my metrics, they're unheard of. unheard of. Let's just go to a couple of them. Hold on, we're gonna get rid of that and pop over here just to show everybody the metrics that I have over on YouTube. They're unheard of. Okay, I mean, if it were fair, I would be in the top tiers of YouTube. Because if you go to see this, minus 55 subscribers. Yeah, about 185. Because we grind and we try to get like 200 new ones a month. But for some reason, we're dumping subs. Dumping subs. When you go to my audience, okay, take a look around. Like incredible metrics right here, guys. That's what it is. From returning to unique viewers, right? The content itself, 18 plus minute watch time. Now, granted, my videos are about an hour now. That means that people watch about a third of the show. Between a third and a fourth. Unheard of metrics. Unheard of. I have a 5+% click-through rate. They tell you if you can get to like 4 to 5.5, that's mega. I have a 5% click-through rate. It's a huge one. All right, and I have a 98+% approval rating, thumbs up compared to thumbs down on the videos. Does it seem fair to anybody? Ask any YouTuber what it would be like if they had almost a 19-minute average duration. I mean, most YouTube videos that are making the money, son, are between 5 and 15 minutes long, usually 5 and 10. And if somebody watches 2 to 4 minutes of that, that's huge. That's huge for that platform. All right. Let's keep going down the line. And it looks like we'll take probably questions and comments for the rest of the first hour. And we'll do the Alex Karp thing on the other side via Davos. Alex Karp, a really interesting character. I may hit a few of the other stories that I wanted to touch upon. Really not that many there, but there were 3 in particular that I thought were interesting. One including Brooke Shields talking about her strained relationship with her mother and why she doesn't understand how she could let her pose naked in Playboy at 10 years old and be kissing grown men as a kid. No kidding. Poor Brooke Shields, man. No one really talks about Brooke because, although she's had her struggles, she hasn't had the outward breakdowns of other people that were in the entertainment industry as children. But they should. Let's see. You should sue SueTube. For now, but the big picture. The metric is that Jeremy from The Quartering has more subs than Jason, even more than Tim Pool. Shadow ban is in full effect. The Quartering. I mean, that's a popular YouTube channel. But again, no offense to Tim Pool, no offense to The Quartering. They're all kind of lukewarm when it comes to the hardcore, right? Who really brings you the hardcore on YouTube? I'd say we do a good job here. And that we are days, weeks, months, and many times years in front of other alternative media. Forget about the regular media. Again, the United 23 thing should spell it all out. Oh, wow! Whoa, I can't believe the last 20 plus years nobody's talked about United 23 and all the other hijacking possibilities on 9/11. Here, hi, over here. We did it. It happened. It's right here. Why? What's so tough about, telling the truth about it? That's all. I mean, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. Very frustrating. The trouble is they will deny that they are conducting censorship, shadow banning, and how do we prove it in court that they are doing it? You got to get discovery. That's what Alex Berenson did. Alex Berenson got discovery, therefore he got communications. As soon as his lawyer saw the communications, it was really an open and shut case. He was reinstituted to Twitter. He was paid probably millions of dollars, in restitution. but forced to sign an NDA so he could only talk about the case limited. And of course, that's how any of these lawsuits would go. Period. Because it's a lawsuit, and it's not a criminal allegation. Don't get me wrong. I think they're acting completely and totally criminally. Okay, period. Speaking of quite frankly, I've been silenced. I don't know what that means, but I do like quite frankly. Hopefully, quite frankly, a.k.a. Frank, checked out the movie suggestions from like 2 weeks ago that I put out there. He was looking for a good movie, and I had suggested Sorry to Bother You, which is really probably my favorite movie of the past 10 years. I've tried hard to think of another movie that I've enjoyed as much, and I gravitate towards comedies anyway. Huge Dumb and Dumber fan. I love slapstick. This movie actually has quite a bit of physical / slapstick type humor with a much deeper meaning. And then on the other end of the spectrum, I'd encourage you to check out You Were Never Really Here with Joaquin Phoenix. And there's not much, if anything, funny about that film, but a really great film nonetheless. Let's get 200 plus thumbs up. Let's get them going. Last platform standing is like the banks. Oh, boy. Yeah, that doesn't seem to be getting any better, does it? What kind of platform hurts itself for the narrative? One that's a player for the machine. That's the thing. Everybody goes, oh, it's a private company, Jason. It's a private company. It's there for a profit. It doesn't make a profit. Private companies make profits. Trojan horse civilian systems are propped up so that the profiteering is really for the state and the techno-fascist agenda of track, trace, database, control the great narrative. Track, trace, database, control the great narrative. They don't care about losing money. It's not capitalism. It's techno-fascism. Techno-feudalism. It's a joke. I mean, the only platforms that can hurt themselves financially are the ones that aren't really there to become the financial leviathan instead of just dominate the market because they can. Joe Rogan almost lost his stuff in a YouTube meeting with a CEO. His wife stopped him. Watched a video last night about it. They censored just because. Interesting. I don't know that one. Maybe somebody can send me in the DMs and we'll talk about it. They are attacking so many channels. Yes, they are. People should have a class action lawsuit a long time ago. Yes, I agree. Man, I miss RW. I don't know what RW is. Morning and cheers from Australia. How we doing, Mad Cow? Mark Federstein. Federstein. Yes, he does look a lot like the Frankenstein monster. Different suggestions, totally lousy content, just worse than it's been. Okay. What do you mean? Fetterman has a compressed brain. Setup changed, harder to find history and related content. Yes, if you're talking about the interface on YouTube, I think that's part of it. So just so everybody knows what they did, and I've had people mention this. Hey, Jason, why aren't you putting out as many videos? It looks like you only put out a video 3 weeks ago or a month ago or a month ago or a month ago. And I guess a lot of that is on me. I've got to start taking those second hours that I haven't been taking lately, cutting them up and throwing them up every single day that are 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks old. Now, a lot of that stuff just isn't fit for YouTube. So I've actually got to cut a bunch out. But if you noticed, home goes here to videos and playlists, and then you touch videos, right? And again, 3 weeks, a month. You have to go to live now. It used to just have everything there. And you notice they have latest and popular. Oh, now you get to take a look and see that I'm doing it every day. Oh, now it's a little different, right? But most people don't see that. And it's set up that way. It's set up that way because they don't want people watching this channel. They don't want people having an outlet that isn't an authoritative mainstream media source. And even when they deal in alternative media, they still want to keep you in that right-left paradigm, that progressive versus conservative mindset. Democrat, liberal, red, Republican. You get it? There's a new channel being highly pushed by YouTube, a conspiracy theory channel with the first video. With the first video about the Simpsons already up to 67,000 views, and it came out last night. Well, the Simpsons is a big seller. Not a fan of Karp. I'm not a big fan of Alex Karp either. Whitney Webb in particular has done some interesting work on Palantir and Alex Karp in particular. Unlimited Hangout, check it out. Me droogies. What's it called? Sons of Perdition? Are we talking about the Tom Hanks movie, Road to Perdition? Katie Kane? Good, really good, in my opinion. Mob movie, by the way. Let's see. All right. YouTube has really went downhill, is really designed to control the masses now. Yes, it is. Gateway Pundit censors its chat if you disagree with their opinions. I wouldn't know much about the Gateway Pundit chat because I haven't been into it. I don't know whether or not you're talking about the comments on the page during the articles, or I think they have a YouTube channel as well. Obviously, they have a Rumble channel, and the movement is towards Rumble. Again, Rumble's got Peter Thiel money behind it, but Rumble's also taking out advertisements on television. Rumble's making moves by signing exclusives with huge names that can actually bring an audience over. And yeah, you've got to offer them money. It's not just like, come to my platform. And so many, I shouldn't say that, because I know that with certain creators, Rockfin did give some financial benefit to. I wasn't one of them. I came in for free. But they did pay some smaller creators who were around bigger creators initially to come in and post. However, they don't have the money to bring in a Steven Crowder. They don't have the money to bring in a Russell Brand. They don't have the money to bring in a Glenn Greenwald. And all of those are power players that are able to bring in a huge audience. But it's really because of the partnership. Because not only the power players talking about it, but Rumble's putting money into it as well. Michael Tracy came over to Rockfin for about a month. I haven't seen him post since. And, Tracy doesn't have the name of the other three, but he has a decent social media presence. I thought that he was doing some interesting work, but again, there was a lack of a base audience for him to interact with, and I think that made him shy away from the platform. Just my opinion, I don't know for sure. Let's see. It's the military-industrial complex making a budget and plan for a war with China and Russia all weekend. I've also seen vets saying the VA is pulling benefits. I don't know anything about VA getting their benefits pulled, but I know that the VA in particular has had its issues, for quite some time. Yeah, Mr. Perdition, what's the name of the channel? I don't know. Got unsubbed from Redacted a few days ago. Most people that are awake to a lot of truth, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week for 7 years, no vacation, pro bono. I mean, who's doing that? Who's working for 7 years, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week for free? That's a lot. Sounds like gulag prison style. And by the way, guys, I can't recommend, and I'm not saying it's 100% historically accurate. I'd be remiss to act like I knew if it was. But, and I talk about it a lot here, that back in the day, I used to watch the History Channel quite a bit because, it was about history. It was about World War I, World War II. Used to call it the Hitler Channel because there was so much Nazi stuff, and in particular Hitler, but that's faded away. And now you turn on that network, has nothing to do with real history. Instead, it's ancient aliens constantly. It's the unexplained. And I don't mind the unexplained with William Shatner. That's fun. They even have like a show where They go through video posts and say whether it's fake or not. That's okay. I want history. I want history. And the Apocalypse Stalin series. I got home Saturday night. I went to my American Heroes channel and I'm watching. I was just mesmerized. First of all, there's a ton of stuff that I didn't know regarding the roots of World War II and Nazi surrenders with Russia, where the Nazis had invaded into Russia, how far they had gone, meetings with Winston Churchill via Stalin, and guess who? Averell Harriman. Oh. Like when I saw Averell Harriman accompanying Winston Churchill, who is aggrandized and glorified to this day, and they make comparisons to people like Zelensky, etc. And then I saw him getting off the plane with Averell Harriman, arms dealer, banker. I was like, oh no, oh no, yeah, because Averell Harriman Brothers Banking, and Prescott Bush, grandpappy to George W., pappy to George H.W., was working with the Nazis too, playing both sides of the fence, making that money, son. That's how it works. Robin Williams had a neurodegenerative condition. As part of treatment, he was given dopamine agonist drugs. Increase in dopamine can increase risky behavior. Well, like you said, he was clearly on at least two antidepressants, according to the mainstream articles. They are fake sub numbers on YouTube, my opinion. I don't know about that. In NS this week is the final report from the 23 people murdered in 2020, my family included. What's NS? It's a massive cover-up by the RCMP and our government, and only one guy is covering the truth. I don't know what NS is, and I don't know what you're talking about. You got to be clear. That's not clear at all. Thumbs up. Hi, Andrew. No TLAV content this weekend either. I'm always worried they'll finally slap the pirate streams. 100 JB, YouTube doesn't want because of the people, and they don't respect that. Let's see. Talking about YouTube. I believe the subscriber numbers are deflated along with the likes and the views. Could be. Chickadee Chinese chickens. What do we got? A little bare naked ladies in there? Visit from DFAX incoming. What digital blackface? What the hell are you talking about? Digital black. You know, I've heard people now. There's this article out there that if you use a GIF in a text thread, you could be guilty of digital blackface. Huh? Get out of here with that Johnny nonsense. Get at it. So I use a "What You Talking About Willis" meme from, a little GIF from Different Strokes, and I'm a bigot. When somebody just said something and I want to go, "What you talking about?" No. I watched Orwell, The Family, guy Star Trek type show. This episode was on Society Built on likes and dislikes. And if you get 10 million unlikes, they reprogram your brain into a vegetable. Great. What you Hey, I didn't even see that. Look at that. There's some synchron. What you talking about, Willis? Exactly. I thought the same exact thing. Maybe the deep state is afraid the Chinese could sneak in unapproved malinformation, inconvenient truths. Yes. Pesky Pesci. Cosmo laughs about the digital blackface, so hopefully he was just joking. R.I.P. Robin Williams. Loved Robins. Hackers steal info from New Zealand and Aussieland. I don't know anything about that story. Williams knew a lot about the demons of Hollyweird. It was very sad. Grew up loving his comedy in the 70s. Hare Krishna. Yes, he used to do the Hare Krishna bit quite a bit. The mainstream meds likely made it worse. Psilocybin might have helped. He was probably depressed. He was in the devil's den of Hollywood. Mass distraction. It wasn't mass distraction. It was, what was it? Self-destruction? Weapons of self-destruction? Yes, well, weapons of self-destruction. destruction. All right, we're about 1 minute away. I want to get everybody over to the premium portion of the broadcast where we're going to do this Alex Karp World Economic Forum watch along so people can learn about the track trace database software of Palantir, the national security state, and other big tech companies getting in there. Karp says some really interesting things. Even about his family coming from Bavaria like 1,000 years ago, etc. A lot of stuff like that. So, World's Greatest Dad, directed by Bobcat Goldthwait, starring Robin, is a masterpiece. Not a comedy, but an important film. No, it's a very dark film. I didn't realize that Bobcat Goldthwait had directed that film. That's interesting to me. Very, very much. Very, very interesting to me. Okay. I'm going to give the cue to my producer as soon as they're ready to go. I've got it now programmed that I should be able to leave all of these on one button, a one-button press, and I could say goodbye to all platforms. I had that going before, but unfortunately, it wasn't working, and it was messing stuff up, and that's no bueno. But we got the new setup, we got the new computer, we got the new office, so we should be gearing up, ready to go, easy to hit the page down, easy to knock everything off at the same time. And like I said, I just wait for that text from the producer, and we'll cut it off to the premium version. RedVoiceMedia.com/Jason, RedVoiceMedia.com/uncensored will do it. That's where you want to be for the next hour or so. And we are good to go. So we are going to say goodbye to Rumble, Rockfin, Twitter, and YouTube. Love you guys, and I will see you hopefully on the paid flip side. Remember, you can listen for free right now over at the Info Warrior Podbean. Okay. And it looks like it didn't work. God damn it, man. And it does look like it jammed everything up, too. Well, if we are broadcasting still on everything else, I guess that we're just going to have to do that, unfortunately. That stinks. Maybe I can... I guess that's what we're going to do. Because it looks like we're still going on the vast majority of these. So I'm going to kick it off. I'm going to kick off my my streaming software really quick. And then I'm going to come back, and I'm letting my producer know that. So just give me a moment, folks. Let me see what we got. Let me see if we can